One of the things I think is really cool about this OU-Texas rivalry is that some of the main players in this series actually have a history at the other school, and obviously nobody more famous than that than Darrell Royal, the legendary head coach of the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, no one did it like him. He had an All-American season at Oklahoma, an undefeated season as well as a member of the Sooners football team, and then as a coach for the Longhorns. 12 wins against the Sooners. No other coach in the history of this rivalry has as many wins as that guy.
He's from Hollis, Oklahoma. He is also a legend in Austin, Texas. We went to Hollis. Our own Elise Jones has that story.
A little town tucked in the southwest corner of Oklahoma, home to one of the biggest names in football history, Darrell Royal.
There's a sign out there on the field as we go on the field. It's just something that traditionally when we go by, we give it a little tap.
If the local football team touches your name before every game, 80 years after you graduate, you must have left a legacy.
He's a legacy. He'll never be forgotten in Hollis.
Darrell Royal was born and raised in Hollis, Oklahoma, and is still today remembered as a stellar athlete.
You can talk about Billy Sims, you can talk about all those great players. Darrell played both sides of the ball.
Kind of like catching magic in a bottle right there.
I was in junior high school, and Darrell was the big, great athlete in our county, in Harmon County. And he not only was the best football player at Hollis, but he was the best basketball player in the county and the best baseball player.
Ted Owens, later a coaching legend in his own right, coached basketball at Kansas for 2 decades and calls Darrell Royal his lifelong friend.
I'm very happy just to be people to mention me in the same breath that Darrell, because his career was just outstanding.
The punter, the playmaker, the perfect picture of an OU All-American.
Darrell had a great love for the University of Oklahoma and had a great love for his hometown of Hollis.
He started 9 games for OU at quarterback and never lost.
Royal set records and made his hometown proud, beating the Longhorns 2 out of 4 seasons in college.
There used to be a sign outside of Hollis, "Welcome to Hollis, home of Darrell Royal."
Despite his deep Oklahoma roots, he didn't always bleed crimson and cream.
We loved him until he went to Texas.
Coach Darrell Royal and Ernie Coy in the nation's spotlight and the eyes of Texas. The nation salutes the mighty Texas Longhorns and their magnificent coach Darrell Royal.
A decision that shocked Sooner fans and his hometown. This Oklahoman headline saying it all. Hollis upset with Darrell.
Yeah, it was a bitter rivalry. It still is.
How do you feel? I've got to be the happiest guy in America tonight.
One of the most decorated college football coaches in history.
And here's a big one for the Longhorns.
With 3 national championships and 0 losing seasons, Royal created a dynasty in Austin.
You deserve to be number 1, and that's what you are.
Texas was thrilled to have him.
And Texas was hungry to beat Oklahoma. Royal did just that, 12 out of 20 times as coach. Owens says the first time Royal defeated his alma mater.
When he went down to shake hands with Bud, he cried. He was that emotional about it because Bud Wilkinson was his hero.
That's when Texas knew they had their guy. After his first season, the Texas House of Representatives named Royal an honorary Texan, and even the OU fans were tuning in.
The only time I rooted against Darrell was when they played OU.
I can remember some games when I was a little bitty guy and we'd watch Texas. And I probably didn't understand why we were watching Texas play, but my dad knew the coach.
When Royal stepped down from head coach, Owens says his career was far from over and his legacy at UT just beginning.
I've always said that I wanted to leave before people wanted me to leave.
And the Board of Regents, they came over and said, "Darrell, we have a question we need to ask you. Could we have your permission to name the stadium the Darrell K. Royal Stadium?" And of course, they were floored.
But back in Hollis, they wouldn't forget Royal either, also naming their field after their homegrown legend.
I think he was proud of his roots, proud of what he accomplished at OU. Wasn't ashamed of what he did at Texas, whether you liked it or not.
A reminder that no dream is too small.
It's just an encouragement for young people that you're going to run into a lot of difficulties in life, and certainly in sports. And everything's not going to be easy. That's what Darrell was. He was an example of what you can do if you work hard, if you sacrifice, if you believe and have strong faith, that you can be successful.
Royal passed away in 2012, and while he may have died a Longhorn,
His legacy is with Sooner fans.
I think the Sooner fans can be very proud that Darrell Royal was a part of Sooner Nation.
Oklahoma will always be the home of Darrell Royal.
Darrell's association and success with Coach Wilkinson and the success he'd had against Texas as a player opened doors for him. He probably wouldn't have gotten the Texas job were not for what had happened to him at Oklahoma, and he was always grateful for that. Always grateful for what happened to him at a little town, Hollis, Oklahoma.
In Hollis, Elise Jones, KOCO 5 News.